I have the Baltimore Ravens at number 4. And so, I mean, this is close. I mean, I think for these last couple teams, the Ravens, interesting team coming into last year because I think they had a few more questions on the offensive line than you would like to see when you're just charting these things. But obviously it worked out well. Lamar Jackson's coming off of his best statistical season, despite not winning the MVP. They added Derrick Henry to the mix last year. And I think you saw his value at various points during the year, especially late in games. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins puts them over the top or anything at receiver, but I don't think he needs to. I think that's a nice buy low to just kind of add some depth to the receiver room. Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers there. We saw Isaiah Likely take on more of a role last year. Mark Andrews is still on the roster. I mean, when you go top to bottom, I think there's a couple offensive linemen where you would say, hey, if Lamar Jackson's not our quarterback, I'm not feeling as good about this whole line, but Lamar helps elevate that because of the run pass threat and everything he brings to the table. And I keep referencing star power because I think it matters. Like having high impact players matters. So I think this combination of a star like Kyle Hamilton who could do it all in the secondary and play multiple roles. We saw him play in and around the line of scrimmage, saw him play free safety, and just really good depth in that linebacker room, right? You know, not as deep, I don't think, as they were maybe in 2023, where you literally looked up and down the roster, like when Patrick Queen was still there, and the offensive line just had a few more, dependable players, guys with more of a track record. But they are solid top to bottom with star power, certainly with Lamar, Henry, Kyle Hamilton, and like once again, really like where the Ravens are heading into the season.
Yeah, they were my number 3 roster in the league. Top to bottom, there's very little in the way of weaknesses. Obviously, they've got Lamar Jackson, so they've got the quarterback. They've got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and a guy who doesn't just play well, doesn't just make things difficult for the opposition, but I think does raise the level of other people around him. Way back when there was that the debate was around Ronnie Stanley and how elite is he as a pass blocker versus how much is Lamar Jackson helping him out. I think you can extend that out to the entire offensive line now, and Derrick Henry is a part of that as well. So you've got, if you were picking a hole in this roster, you would say, I don't really like any of the guards they have on the roster. But last season, I think shows that it just doesn't matter. Like neither one of those guards, none of those guards may be particularly good, but with the combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the backfield, it doesn't really impact the run game. And with Lamar Jackson, a quarterback, it doesn't really impact the pass game either. So I don't know that it's a big deal at all. And that's probably by far the weakest area of this entire roster. Receiving core is in good shape. Maybe they're similar to Buffalo in terms of missing that, one X receiver that maybe could be transformative. But again, they've been missing that for a few years and it hasn't made a big difference. Elsewhere, like you're looking on the roster trying to find weak spots. There aren't really any. Maybe Malachi Starks is a weak spot simply because he's a rookie and we don't know if he's going to be good yet. But again, similar to Buffalo with Maxwell Hairston, it's like there's some pressure on him because you need him to start right away. But this is a team without weaknesses, really.
Hey, guys, just taking a quick break to tell you, hey, just over 50% of you are still unsubscribed to Check the Mic. It helps the channel. It helps to make sure that you don't miss any of our shows. So if you have a chance, hit the subscribe button right now. You could say maybe outside corner if you're calling Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins as the starting corners, but with Humphrey kicking into the slot, who plays outside, and nickel is a Chidobe Awuzie, some other young players there. So yeah, there's very few holes on this Ravens roster. So I put them at 4. You put them at 3. So we're on to number 3 right now.
First, obviously, you wouldn't factor this in because they're dead to you. But first time without Justin Tucker as a kicker for a long time, so that's a new variable for Baltimore.
It is. I mean, when he was at his best, I mean, there was before he got the yips. Was it last year? I don't think it started the year. Maybe started in the AFC Championship the year before, but before he got the yips last year, I mean, incredible weapon. The number of times that end of half, end of game, you just set up a 60-yarder and he's making it, or you're just in opposing territory and you're at least getting 3 with Tucker.
I mean, to to kind of sum up the Justin Tucker career, I mean, obviously at the moment he's dealing with a bunch of sexual misconduct accusations, and that's part of why I don't think he's there anymore. But as a kicker for his NFL career, the thing that made Justin Tucker unique is every piece of data, when you like studied kickers, when you analyze kickers, when you dove into the information, you could have people that would rival Justin Tucker, but they never did it for more than a couple of years, right? So you could find elite kickers, but the problem was none of these elite kickers ever sustained it for any period of time, and almost every single one of them would have a period of time where they weren't elite anymore. And it's why when you look at most kickers' careers, even like you go find the guys that are the sort of top 10 points, players in NFL history, it's not for one team, right? Very rarely do those kickers hang around in one spot. The Morton Anderson, Gary Anderson, those guys played for like half the league. They just kept going from one team to the next, because eventually you reach this point where you shank a kick in an NFC championship game, or like you miss an important one, or you go on a run where you forget how to kick and that team gets rid of you and the next one brings you in, then you rediscover yourself. The thing that made Justin Tucker unique is he was consistently elite for like a decade, just start to finish, most accurate kicker in the league, 90+%, amazing from distance, and never dropped the standards right up until last year, when all these accusations came out. And I don't know if they're connected or not, or if that's just when it happened for him. But he was unique because he was the elite kicker that everybody's searching for, and consistently that, like, he never dropped those standards. And the Ravens have had that in their back pocket for the last, decade or so. So it's probably a big deal that they don't have that for the first time in a long time.
No, it absolutely is. It's a factor for the Ravens. And again, like, if we're being picky, 2023, they certainly looked like the best, most complete team in the league, losing the AFC Championship to the Chiefs. I think their depth has taken a bit of a hit since then, but still one of the better rosters in the NFL.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.